Telugu cinema has always been known for its big, epic, massy films. But there's another side to it which is quite overlooked. And today I'm going to talk about two such films which really stand out with their treatment. So, let's go. Hello guys, I'm Nona and there's always been noise about these big films coming from Telugu cinema, the pan-Indian films. They are the ones always in the limelight. But there are many different, unique, experimental films being made. Telugu cinema has the most number of debut directors every year. Now, of course, most of these films are unable to find an audience outside. They don't get a platform like the big films get. And this year there have been many such films, but many are not accessible, not readily available on a big streaming platform. Even the reviews for some films is kind of mixed, that they try something different but it's not the best film made. But there are some which stand out, which I'll be talking about. First, Lucky Baskhar, written and directed by Venky Atluri. This film is quite a sleeper hit. Slowly it just kept on going, and I think now it has earned around 100 crores at the box office over a long period of time. And I've learned that even when the film is out on OTT, it's still playing in some theaters. And again, it's a Telugu film starring Dulquer Salmaan and doing wonders yet again. I feel the reason DQ is finding such success doing Telugu films is because many Telugu actors available, they are into making, mass films. They need to have action, they need to have, all the elements which the fans want. So they all come with a baggage to the film. And if you see, both Lucky Baskhar and Sitaramam are not those kind of films. Yes, they are made at a scale, but it's not about action. It's not about the massy moments. And that's why DQ really fits well in these films. He doesn't have that baggage. The audience coming in don't have that expectation from him to give that massy and over the top action. And Lucky Baskhar is a very unique film. It's a kind of scam heist film, a period crime drama which adds the scale to the film that is needed. And they really created these big sets, like you feel like you are in that era. There's so many crowd shots, markets, streets, and the production is actually well done. And one more interesting thing is that our main character Baskhar is breaking the fourth wall, talking to the audience directly. Now don't expect something like Deadpool. Here it's more like he's narrating his story, and there are few moments where he look at us and comment something, but still it's very refreshing. Now I really liked how they conceived this narrative. They created a fictional story around a real incident, and the plot at no point affects the real incident that happened. It's not digressing or changing those events, because those events are happening at a bigger scale, but the story is a small part of it. And I'm talking about the Harshad Mehta scam, which came quite popular after the series came out on Sony Live, Scam 992, which was kind of a pan-India hit, available in 5 languages. And I actually did a live watch along for this film, and many people were saying that watching this film made them go back, watch the series again. That tells you how well this film performed, because it makes you want to relive more of these moments. Now I do wish if we were living in a world where we could have a crossover from that show in this film, but that's not really possible, both practically and narrative wise. This film is about Baskhar, not Harshad Mehta, and to get that actor to come and perform his character again, there will be some legal issues also there. But in a fantasy world, Baskhar and Harshad Mehta coming together would be really cool. Now the film throughout is very entertaining. It creates those tense moments so well. The way the scam happens, how it's done, how it's executed, there needs to be a logic behind all of it. You need to create a structure and explain it well to the audience what's really happening. And I think they really well balance the information given to the audience. For a common man, it's very easy to understand what's really going on. We do get some terms which not everyone would know, but it's easy to understand and follow what's going on. And I feel the film is best when it's in its slick mode, when the charming Dulquer Salmaan is heading it. He just has his charisma which suits this character in this film. But the moment we move away from that, that's where the film falters for me. I feel like the makers didn't commit 100% to the grey shade character they were going for. It's yes as well as no. Our protagonist will do something wrong, will take advantage of the others, but no, he's a hero, so he will change, he will reform, he'll become the good person at the end of the day. But he will be badass too, he'll get his cool moment, he will outsmart the others, but by the end he will make sure he do the justice for everyone else who are innocent and only take on the bad guys, which he himself was, but now he has changed, so he's a good guy. So some way you wish if they had stayed with the grey character instead of making him a good guy by the end. That's a very much a demand of a commercial film, to show that bad guys will always lose and the good guy will win. And to achieve all of this in this film, the film goes into that sentimental way. The family comes in, he needs to change, the father gives him a big speech, and those moments doesn't really work because the film don't have time to spend on this this whole setup, on this whole dynamic, it kind of feels very rushed. That's why I say the best moments are when we are with DQ and he's doing his shenanigans, because the film is very focused there. It knows what it wants to do. There's no doubt. But I feel that's the outcome when you're making a commercial film. There's a limit to the experimentation, the limit, what you can really do and what you cannot. But who knows? Maybe audiences would have accepted a very grey character who doesn't change by the end, or maybe not. We'll never know. I would have loved if they had stuck to it and had gone that far, but still what we got is a really good attempt and a really enjoyable film to watch. And now coming to the second one, 35 Chinna Katha Kaadu, written and directed by a debutant, Nanda Kishore Emani. I remember watching the trailer for this film. It looked very different. I heard a lot about the film when it released, but it was not playing near me. But I finally got to watch the film in theatre during a film festival where the cast and crew were present. So watching this film became quite special. This film is a family comedy drama where we are following the story of this kid, which is quite relatable for a lot of us. The film is set in Tirupati, and that actually plays a big role in the story. Actually, during the Q&A session with the cast and crew, an audience member mentioned how authentic that experience was, the way they captured that place. And the director said that's how he grew up, It was very natural. It was not, try to make it like that. It's based on his life experience. For me, what really stands out in this film are the relationships between the mother and the son, between the husband and a wife, the moments they share, the troubles they go through, and how they overcome that. The film is about empowerment for the kid who is a slow learner, who doesn't really understand things very well, who needs some special attention. And he has this curiosity in him. He wants to understand something. He asks questions, which is of course not allowed in our education system. And thus he is getting punished for it and turning him into a rebel. And it's also empowering the mother who single-handedly runs the house, who's really good at cooking, but she's a 10th fail. She cannot really help the kids in studies. And that becomes a demerit point for her. So much that even the husband uses this fact to get back at her. And it shows how education can get you self-respect. And there's lots more happening. It's a very layered narrative. The friendships you have in school, the things you do, standing out of the class as punishment. Small things are captured which will give you nostalgia trip. The film comments on the education system. How important is a teacher figure? It can make or break the life of a student. How dividing the students based on the marks they score is so wrong for them. Creating a divide among them. Alienating the student who's not doing well. Instead of bringing him more closer and trying to make him understand. And there's so many different things, It's a women empowerment film. It's a kid's narrative also. It's about the romantic track between the husband and the wife. It's about the education system. The way all of it comes together in the climax. And it's so well executed that by the end, it makes you emotional. For me, one of the standout shots in the film is the symbolic bindi which is put near the mirror. And I feel Nivita Thomas as the mother, she just stole the show. She really shouldered the film. It was such an important pivotal character in the film and she gives justice to it. And the big shout out to the kids, all of them, the whole class. They did such a fabulous job. I was thinking, it would have been a nightmare shooting with them because they can do anything. You cannot really train them. And the director said none of them were trained. They almost auditioned 900 kids. That's insane. And he talked about, how they shot all of those sequences within 10-20 days. They made the kids familiar with the cameras. They used to just place them and let the class go on. Do some workshops with them so that they don't look at the camera. And then quickly they finish the shoot. I really like the use of the antagonist teacher. There's a very beautiful scene between him and the mother, which, kind of gives you that mass appeal. It is so badass. And remember, in the context of a teacher meeting a mother, talking about the kid who's not performing well. A very small setup, but the execution of that scene is so epic. Now, I do wish if there was some backstory or reasoning why the teacher is like this, but maybe, we all have teachers like this in our childhood. Maybe there is no reasoning to it. They are just like that. Maybe that's how they grew up, and that's what they took with them. They're not evil, but maybe that's their perspective on how things should be because that's what they have lived. Now, the film is quite over dramatic. There are few very cheesy moments, but I guess it's a family drama and it actually works. Again, a film by a debut director, not typical at all. It is so different than the typical template. It's risky, but they still got the support of a producer as well as the audiences. And that tells you, that Telugu cinema is not just about those big films with those big stars and their fan armies, the pan-India release and that box office. It's also about these smaller films, which also get the audience to the theaters. And this has always been the case. It's not something new. And I talked about that in this video, that there are more to Telugu cinema and there are these gems which have been ignored. Do let me know your thoughts about both the films in the comments below and I will see you next time.